Ignore the
Uh,
laughing guys. Hey, this is Secret Agent Redstone with guest host,
Kaido Uzumaki.
and we're gonna do what's called Let's Discuss here. Um, you know, a lot of debate has been going on. This is the title of our subject: multiplayer versus single player. Which one is better, and which one? Because EA, this is old news. EA has stated that multiplayer is basically the way of the future. No one wants a single player. Now, me and Dallin
Well, they're
are on
not.
the opposite side here. Now, on the opposite side here, we're saying that's a lie. That's a bull-faced lie. We are true gamers. We have played almost every game out there since the Atari, since the Nintendo. And
Well, I don't. I'm not a big racing, sports, or horror game person, honestly. But I'll play just about any other kind of game out there.
you can't really say that about the horror. You've played it and you do kind of like it. It's just
The only one I have played and I do enjoy is Fatal Frame.
agreed.
Even then.
Now, what's honestly at stake here is replay value versus just one game and going on with that game and added content. That's what it is. It's replay value versus added content. Now, EA is kind of wrong. They're both their statement about how multiplayer everybody wants a multiplayer game, not a single player game is wrong. Because it's just a
and
statement saying that they're saying everybody wants a multiplayer game. Now, what you're seeing here
and
in the video
I'm just gonna
is
I'm
a
gonna say this.
multiplayer.
This is our opinion. This you you listeners or viewers may have a completely different opinion than us. But this is just our opinion that we believe that multiplayer games aren't necessarily the way of the future. Granted, me and Redstone play a lot of multiplayer games, but
Warframe being
I
one of them.
love me and him both love the single player games.
No, hold on a sec before you keep going on about that. They just that's all they stated was that people don't want single player games. It's a lie. Um, because they didn't say anything after that. What I think they were meaning to say, what I think, is that multiplayer games have more value. In a way, that's correct because you can sit there and play the same multiplayer game over and over, sometimes not get bored of it. Sometimes. Something like this Warframe, new content keeps getting added to it and added to it and added to it. Granted, Warframe started back on the computer, where me and Dallin first played it on the beta on the computer. We liked it, but we stopped. We honestly stopped because there wasn't much to it. Now they're adding new content because they're getting a bigger community on the consoles. Um,
Well, and another thing is when, like he said, we stopped playing it for a while, and that's because there wasn't much to it, and it's one of those games that after you play it for a while, it didn't have a great start. Warframe didn't. It really didn't. But through updates and everything like that, you don't have to you don't have to really, and the updates are free. The game is completely free. And they've gone through and updated it as they go, and they've added more and more content each time.
Now, what EA has done, and everybody knows it, and everybody hates it, especially those that have played the original Battlefront series, original, not by EA, 1 and 2. The original 1 and 2 were great. 2 introduced us to a multiplayer that was online. 1 introduced us to split screen multiplayer, which still, we all loved going against our friends and trolling them sometimes in that. But at the same time, those games didn't focus on their multiplayer aspects like EA did to the new Battlefront series. They got rid of the single player campaign. They got rid of
Well, with 2, they returned the single-player campaign. But
Yes,
from what
but
I've heard, the single-player campaign is kind of mediocre.
it's bare bones. That's what it is. It's just plain old bare bones, not good. You know? And that's the reason why I'll never touch it. I will never touch that series. After what I've touched one. Battlefront 1 from EA. They ruined it. I didn't ever want to pick it up again. That was the end of it. Battlefront 2, I heard all the bad stuff about it, including the fact that because of their stupidity in adding the
Loot boxes.
and you could pay to get better loot, they essentially turned it into gambling, and every nation saw it as gambling. So what happened? Tell me, what had happened to them? We gotta kill these guys fast. I got it. What happened? I can tell you what happened. There are now laws.
Well, they haven't passed the laws, but countries and even states are trying to create laws to outlaw loot boxes.
Because it's gambling. Honestly, if you look at it, the loot boxes, loot crates, it's gambling. You put money in to get better stuff. If you get better stuff. And there's only a slight chance you'll get better stuff. That's not our discussion today. It's not the loot boxes and EA and what they did with it. It was the statement EA said is wrong. Longevity-wise, a series like Fallout, Skyrim, or Elder Scrolls,
even Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts.
Final Fantasy.
If you look back into the past, look at everything about Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts didn't have anything promotional or anything like that for it. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 seemed like were almost strictly word of mouth or word of reviewers. If you could find anything about it.
What EA is stating is that for them, multiplayer is more profitable. You wonder why it's more profitable? Because they can milk more out of you. It's the only reason why places are creating more multiplayer games. Now, it's a lie though, because in my opinion, and this is coming from gamers like me and Dallin, who play single player games a lot more than a multiplayer. By word of mouth, the multiplayer games are better. I mean, not multiplayer, but by word of mouth, your single player games are better. Why? Because I can take something that I have played, like oh gosh, what's it called? Fallout 4. One of my favorite games in Bethesda's lineup, Fallout 4. And say, this is a really great game, you should pick it up. To someone who's never played it, like Dallin here. I like Dallin here. Dallin has never played Fallout 4. And he never, up till now, played Skyrim. And loves the heck out of Skyrim.
Scott, I don't know if I remember quickly. I think I kind of got you into the Final Fantasy corner, because before you weren't a big fan of Final Fantasy, and then I kind of introduced you to some of the later games, and you kind of fell in love with the series.
That is true. You are right. I really didn't care for Final Fantasy before 13.2. Then I played the heck out of 13.2, and still wish I had 13.2. I just went home. I still wish I had 13.2. I need to get Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns again, and 13.2. I don't think I'll ever pick up 13, though. 13's kind of the black sheep.
You should pick up 15. 15 is more of an action-based one. It's closer to Kingdom Hearts' battle style, but...
Yeah, it's one of that, huh? Anyway, what we're going on about here is the statement, and this is why we're calling it Let's Discuss, because you guys can sit there and put it in the comments down below on my channel, The Secret Agent Redstone. about how you guys feel about it. I want to know how you guys, my subscribers, my viewers, feel about. We got a Nox. Nox. Tether him. Anyway, I want to know how you guys feel about it. What you guys think is better, your single player or your multiplayer, or something like Ark. Oh, Ark is multiplayer, isn't it? Something like this game. It is a multiplayer-based game, but it's also single player. You can go off on your own and do your own thing. You don't need to be with allies.
You can very well go off on your own.
Yes. This game, multiplayer as it may be, is a lot easier on multiplayer. Now, there are games out there that we will never mention in this discussion unless it's games we really hate. And that certain companies
Did you say really hate?
Yes. And I will never mention it again. It's a curse.
I think I know what game you're talking about.
Exactly. We will never mention it unless you guys want us to mention it. But it is a single-player piece of trash game that came out in 2006. Everybody knows it.
If it's the game I think you're thinking of, it's got... The best way I can describe it is it's got some fan fiction in it.
Fan fiction. It's probably up here down. Yep, right here. I got it. But yeah, it's something I'll never have ever again. I've played it. I hate it. Never beat it because it's unbeatable. So no.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, I'll just give the year 2006.
Yeah, I just said that. But yeah, there are trash single-player games out there. There are trash nowadays. Most of it's trash, actually. Yeah. Most of most of single-player games that do come out at a bad time. You know, they rush, and I'm blaming. And I know it's not always, but I'm blaming the pre-sales.
We got very far ahead of the drone.
Yeah, sorry. You go ahead. I gotta get idiot here. Or ugly. Got him! Woohoo! Now that's a tag. The moment he slows down, he's dead. Yep, that Dargan's down. Got him. Sorry, didn't mean to get too far ahead. Heal.
Trust me. It's just a recording. Scott and one of our buddies, Andrew, did a whole rant on the game Scott's referencing.
He hates it. We all hate it. We've all played it. We all hate it.
I think I'm the only one that really hasn't played it. I think it was mostly like you and Andrew and some of our other friends that have played it. I don't think I ever played it.
Yeah. Essentially, it was a bad game. I honestly, I blame developers for rushing something out like that. That could have been a great game for its time, but it is so bad. I also blame gamers. Too many of us are in too much of a hurry to get that game out, which is the reason why I'm gonna so appreciate. Well, I'm gonna love the heck out of Kingdom Hearts because it has been in there for a long time.
It's been like what? A lot of us have been waiting for like 12 years now, I believe, ever since Kingdom Hearts 2 ended.
Yep. A lot of us who've been playing the spin-off games and stuff like that have been wanting Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out forever. I'm down. That knocks. Tie him up real quick. Tie these guys up and then get me. Actually, forget it. Not healthy for you to get me.
Or you go down.
charging energy to get it up there. You know, games like that, developers who decide to take their time on a game, pre-orders are the worst. That's why I'm blaming gamers. Pre-orders. They want their game now, when the developers say it's going to come out. Unfortunately, that also pushes developers to push it out there. They push it out there and suddenly it's not a good game. Because we rushed it.
Well,
we rushed it.
There's developers who, if they believe the game isn't in a good spot. Square Enix is a good example. If they believe the game isn't in a good spot, they'll push back the release date. Take, for example, Square Enix and Final Fantasy 15. They basically said, we'll release it at this date. And then they changed their mind. I'm thinking it's because 15 wasn't in a good spot.
Well, you also got to understand that when that happened, it was because gamers... that happens, which is great, but at the same time, it's bad. Because gamers are rant and rave about how it's not going to be good because they push back and stuff like that. If you are a true gamer, you will appreciate it when it comes out and when it's good. If it comes out good after their release date because it took them so long, good. I applaud the developers for pushing it back.
I'm just using Square Enix as an example. They try to get their games to the best they can before they release it.
Mm-hmm. Grab one quick. They do. They're not always pressured by their peers, and every gamer out there that they need to get it out, and they need to get it out now. Oh, I'm gonna jump out here. Jump out of the Dargan. Thank you. Looking for ugly. Oh boy.
Get rid of the turret.
I see him. I gotta tag him. I gotta tag him. Oh. Come on, tag him. Got him. You're not getting away. Cover me. But yeah, in essence, us as gamers, we kind of ruined some of the developers. Because they instead of pushing back the release date to make it better, because they see flaws, they push it out there. Because we want it now. Gamers ruined it.
Granted, I'm happy Square Enix has taken as long as they have to create Kingdom Hearts 3, but at the same time, I wish Kingdom Hearts 3 had come out earlier. But in all honesty, I'm kind of happy that they've taken as long as they have.
Exactly.
So we don't see any
horrible
thing
mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for number one, they've got to come up with proof of concept. And another thing Square Enix has to do is, for at least Kingdom Hearts, is they've got to get okayed by Disney to use the properties. Because, yes, Square Enix kind of creates the games, but
Disney owns the properties.
They're creating the games in conjunction with Disney. Therefore, they need the rights.
Exactly. So, anyway, going back to our discussion, is a multiplayer better than a single player? Is it? Is it really? Which will you go back to if it has a great story? Linear gameplay. That's another discussion they had, that no one wants a linear game. Are you kidding me? If it has a good story, I'm going to keep playing.
Well,
and that's the truth of
and
it.
Another thing is, how long is the tutorial?
Don't make it like Final Fantasy 13. The reason why everybody hated it. Oh my gosh, that held your hand. Yeah,
not 15, 13.
I said 13.
The original
13.
Oh, sorry. I heard you say 15.
No,
Uh,
don't make it like 13. 13, its original. The reason why people really hated it is because it held your hand throughout the whole game. You didn't really get to do anything. You really didn't. It held your hand. And on the last, like, 1/3 of the game, the last third of the game, you finally got released from the handheld. It was like an overprotective parent. But yeah, when a game decides to hold your hand, and there's not much development of the character, Final Fantasy 13 being one of them, the character development was lacking, the storyline was kind of not there. When you get stuff like that, yeah, it's a bad single player game. It's a bad one. There are bad
well,
ones.
then that's yeah, yeah.
And then there is stuff
And that's
like
another thing. I I don't have much respect for companies who don't learn from their mistakes. Square Enix is
EA,
a great example.
EA, EA.
EA. EA is one example that they don't learn from their mistakes, but I'm saying Square Enix is a good example for a company that learns from their mistakes. They've made great games. They made really great games. I'm a big fan of the Final Fantasy series, but like Scott said, the whole tutorial for Final Fantasy 13 lasted for about 1/3 of the game
2/3.
before it finally let you off and actually play it. Because as you played along, you didn't unlock. You only start out with a chunk of your classes, and as you played, uh, you'd unlock more and more classes, and it held your hand because it taught you how to use those classes. But
Exactly. Instead
Square
of
Enix
going,
learned from that mistake, honestly. Square Enix made from that mistake when they released 13.2. They didn't hold your hand nearly as much, and they just let you basically go off and play instead of holding your hand.
hmm So, again, like I said, it's not about necessarily the company, it's about EA's statement about linear gameplay and how no one wants a single player game.
Yeah.
Their statement on that in of itself is wrong. There are games out there with such great story and they're single player. And I go back
Here,
to one of
I'll,
the
and
games.
I'll give them examples. Games like Final Fantasy.
Really?
Granted, there were two of them that were multiplayer, but the majority of them have been single player. I have loved playing the Final Fantasy games. I've never played this game, but God of War, even the newest one, and I'm ecstatic for Kingdom Hearts 3, viewers or listeners, just because I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan. I love Square Enix as a company. I'm ecstatic for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay, so don't mean to do this, but try not to interrupt.
I'm sorry.
Uh, yeah, ecstatic Dallin here. But yeah, there are games that we as gamers, the true gamers here. I've been gaming since the Atari whatever 100, 2600 I think it was or whatever. Um, I've been gaming since Pac-Man was on the Atari. All right, I was introduced to that because my dad had a Atari. And I played Nintendo. And I played Sega CD, and then I played PlayStation. Um, their statement is so wrong because there are games out there that are worth playing because of the story. Even then, stuff like Minecraft that isn't necessarily and did not start out as multiplayer. Minecraft doesn't have a story. Survival games don't have a story, especially the single player ones. They just set you in a world of you have to survive. And you come up with your own story, your own excuse, your own fun with survivals, which is one of the things I'm going to be picking up for my channel. That as soon as Dallin here gets a terabyte external hard drive, is Ark. And me and him, it'll start with me and him starting out on Ark. We're going to do Ark survival. We're going to create our own narrative as to what we're doing and stuff like that. We're going to be doing Minecraft. More Minecraft. Yes, I know you guys are in it for the Minecraft. I don't just do Minecraft, though. I'm going to be doing more Fallout. I have more videos that I'm currently editing, and I'm going to be uploading to you guys for Fallout series. More Warframe moments here. This is not a Warframe moments. This is a Let's Discuss. Plain and simple. A Let's Discuss. Come sit down on my couch. Let's continue discussing, shall we? Let's make this interesting.
I think I've got to equip my sit animation.
Oh, you don't have your sit animation? Well, then you can stand or meditate.
I've got my meditate.
All right. That it's a. This is a Let's Discuss. You know. Sorry. I don't think I have my sit either. Oh, meditate. This is kind of a Let's Discuss moment here. You know, I just had this idea because we were discussing a lot of other things on other topics. Other topics we'll discuss later. This topic is strictly about single-player games versus multiplayer. It is... Come sit down on the couch. Join me. This is your single-player versus multiplayer. Single-player. Linear gameplay, storyline, survival. All of which, those are single-player. And I watch YouTube a lot. I've watched people play it, single-player-wise. All single-player games.
And even... Like I said, even single-player games are open world. Take Final Fantasy, or most Final Fantasy games. 13 isn't an example of this, but you look at a lot of Final Fantasy. Once you get far enough within the game, you can go wherever you want. You can backtrack to the different areas you've gone to using ships and airplanes and that kind of stuff.
Now, speaking of open world, sorry to interrupt, but speaking of open world, the open world game by Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed, played it, love it. 2 games in the series I won't play because they put only multiplayer into it and you can only play multiplayer. Won't touch those because they were so buggy and they rushed them out. Again, blaming the gamers that want it out and want it out now. Blaming deadlines too. But yeah, what he's saying is true. Open world games, single player, open world. Also, what falls into open world? Skyrim, Fallout 4. Those are open world where you can go into the world and it doesn't matter what level you are. You can go off and face the boss. Well, you can't. You have to rest through the story. But you can go off and face the one thing that I will not face right now in Fallout 4, which is the super mutants. Those suicider buggers. I ran into 2 of those in one episode that I'm working on right now. You guys are going to be laughing. You could go against the Ender Dragon in leather armor in Minecraft. That's
although you'd probably be destroyed.
Not probably. You'd be dead in an instant.
I mean, we took on the Ender Dragon and we died at least 10 times each.
Skyrim. You can go into dungeons that are 10 times higher than you and learn the hard way that you need to go. Really? Slowly and go through. Oh, well, he's gonna step away. I'll keep talking here so I don't have to edit this video. Excuse me for the cough. There's open world games. Everybody loves an open world game to a point. Now, open worlds can get boring to where you don't pick it up for a while, but then you go, oh, hey, I haven't played this game in a while. I'm going to pick it back up. Again, single player games have that. If they have a good story, if they have good linear gameplay, if they have a great open world, players, true gamers, like me and Dallin here, will go back to it. Heck, if I still had a PS2, I'd still go back and play one of my. Actually, if I still had a PlayStation, one of my favorite PlayStation games. I think it was PS1 and PS2. No, it was PS2. Mega Man Legends. That was a good game.
No, that was PS1, I think.
The first
It was
one came
PS1
out
and PlayStation.
Yeah, I think the first one came out on PlayStation. No, you're right.
And I think it was also on the Sega Genesis. I think it was also on the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, but it was so bad on the Sega Genesis. It was not meant for Sega, even though it was one of Sega's babies.
I mean,
and then
there's
you
one
also
game...
take something linear like Mega Man. You take something like Mega Man, Castlevania, Metroid. They don't really have a story to them. They really don't. It's like they throw you in there with a little bit of narrative and go, this is what you're doing. This is how you do it. Go. Stuff like that has basically no tutorial. Just throws you out there. Here, try this.
There's, like Scott mentioned earlier, there's one game series. I wasn't introduced till a little bit after I met Scott. I believe we were playing it on your 360, but I believe it came out originally came out for like Xbox and PlayStation too. Fatal Frame. Love the game.
Oh, Fatal Frame.
Probably wouldn't play the third game. I love the game series though. It is a very linear game. It's got great story, but even with it being linear, you can kind of go wherever you wanted with it.
Linear.
The magic of the first game.
So what you're saying is essentially it's not open world, but it's linear, semi-open world, where you do have kind of an open world where you can wander, but there's barriers.
Yeah. Which, if I remember correctly, that's how Fatal Frame was.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead and go on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
There's points where me and him were playing Fatal Frame. That scared the heebie-jeebies out of me. Even watching the playthrough for 2 and 3 scared the heebie-jeebies out of me, but I thoroughly enjoyed that game. Me and Scott, looking back, I laugh at this story, but there's a story me and Scott tell our friends, or new friends we make, about how we were watching a playthrough for Fatal Frame 2. And Scott told me to walk up and basically turn up the volume. Next thing I know, because you don't even see it till it happens, this little kid's ghost pops up and says peekaboo. I go from where my TV was, because my family has an HD TV now. It was a big flat screen TV, projector TV. I went from where the TV was to the couch without touching the ground.
He flew. But you see, and that game he'll want to go back to if I'm there and we're playing it together. I have the series on my PlayStation 3. I need to hook that thing back up. But that's a very linear game. You are going throughout the map, story. Everything is part of the story. Everything you pick up has to deal with it. Do not tell us that a linear game that has story, great narrative, and stuff like that is not better than a multiplayer. I would rather take a linear game that has a lot of story and is only single player and play that than a multiplayer that is trash and that you're trying to sell over and over and over with new content, and you're trying to sell that content just to make money. Do not give me that. Do not give me your, a multiplayer's better because that's what people want. What people want is a good game. Plain and
A
simple.
good game with great story, and even like games like Minecraft, where it doesn't have a story but it's got great mechanics. That's at least what gamers like me and Scott want. I'm not sure if it's true
Exactly.
for all gamers though.
Not all gamers want what most of us do, but the gamers, people that call themselves gamers out there, want a linear want a good game. They don't want trash when you throw it out. They don't want Battlefront 2. They don't want something that you throw out there and say, "Oh, we'll fix it later," and it's ruined permanently. Too little, too late. I'm also talking about Destiny 2. Actually, the whole entire Destiny franchise. Bungie goofed it. All right. Um, they were saying back in its development it's going to be exactly like Warframe, that it's going to be fun, multiplayer, free. And then they changed it up and said, "Oh no, you're going to pay for the game." Well, not only did we pay for a lousy narrative of a multiplayer game that had very little story to it. Yes, I will agree, it's very little story. And it was buggy, but you had to pay for the DLC. You had to pay for more DLC. And you had to pay for more DLC. A $60 game. This is my reasoning here. A $60 game, if it's 60 bucks, should be worth 60 bucks. If I want to pay high price for a trash game, I'll go pick up freaking Destiny 2 again. All right? If you're going to give me a high price, make it a great game. Or make it free. And then work on it. Warframe here has been free since the beginning. And, I'm not just promoting Warframe because I really like the multiplayer to it. But Warframe has gotten such a great community because, one, the company that started it all is listening to their community. Two, they showboat what the community has created in armor-wise, which, by the way, I feel bad for the developers because the community can do a lot better on armor aesthetics than they can than the developers can. But I'm sorry, developers. But they've made this into a very... wouldn't you say this is kind of linear? It has a story to it. But it also has replay value. And you can play with friends.
The thing is, you're calling it linear. Granted, it kind of is, but it's got no true story. It's got quest lines which give you an insight to kind of how the Warframes came to be, how the Tenno came to be.
Yes.
But
Agreed.
it's got no true story to it, honestly.
Agreed. But, again, I am so sorry for coughing. I don't know what's
And
up
even
with me.
it's got story for even specific Warframes.
But it's still
Take
got a
the one
story.
yeah.
And it... Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. We're going to be going to see the Han Solo movie soon. Um,
Um,
but...
and there's something there's a little more I'd like to say. I can't remember who the company was that
We got to
created
close this
Warframe.
up, by the way. Just to let you know.
I know. This was just kind of my last one of my last comments or my last comment. It kind of honestly, it kind of started out as a crappy game, like Scott was saying, but through all the updates, they've listened to the community,
Hold
they
up.
listened to the players, and made it a very enjoyable game.
Yeah? Did you finish up or what?
That was it.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear the last little bit of it. Don't repeat. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Closing up here on our topic. Again, comments. Like, subscribe. You guys are awesome, by the way. You guys are truly awesome. 30 subscribers, guys. 30 subscribers. I don't know how many vids, but 30 subscribers. You guys are awesome. This community is rather silent, by the way. I've noticed that. No, we don't have very many commenters. But in closing, us as gamers would rather take a good game than pay for trash. Don't give us a $60 game that is worth $15. Give us a $60 game that would be worth down the road $120. Because a $60 game that has replay value and awesome communities and stuff like that, doesn't matter if it's multiplayer or regular, is worth more than something that you rush out and that is trash. I would rather pay $60 for a great game. Hell, I would even pay $120 for a game that's taken forever on development, has been working on it since development, and then puts it out there for $120 and says this is a complete huge. I'm talking about huge. I'm not talking about a small game. Something like Destiny that they rushed out and, you know, paying for DLC, paying for DLC, paying for DLC. Boring. Something that is worth $120 should be complete, should be fun, and should have no problems. Maybe a few minor here and there, but all in all, should have no problems. Give us a game that is worth it, rather than a game that's crap. But, okay, that's our opinions on this topic. Thank you for sticking with us till the end. This is Secret Agent Redstone.
And Kaidu's Maki.
And thanks for watching. Let's discuss. Next discussion will be movies. Yes, we're going to go there. Movies and politics and what you see versus what we see. And true fans. Thank you for watching. You guys, hold on, let me do this the right way. Have a good day.